Hi, you're watching TV9 Digital. I am Neha. The poll bugle has been sounded in 5 states. The political temperatures continue to soar as party leaders do not leave any opportunity to take pot shots at each other. Two most interesting battleground states to watch out for are Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. In both these states, a lot is at stake for the BJP. I'll tell you all that you need to know about research agency See Voters' predictions for poll-bound West Bengal and Tamil Nadu. Let's start with West Bengal. For Mamata Banerjee, winning this state has become more of a political survival issue since her party has seen many defections to the BJP. The BJP claims that it will be able to dethrone Mamata in this election. But that's not what the See Voter opinion poll predicts. See Voter says Trinamool Congress is projected to win around 154 to 162 seats, while the BJP can win anywhere between 98 to 106 seats. In the 294-member House in West Bengal, the Congress and Left Alliance is projected to get around 26 to 34 seats. Coming to Tamil Nadu now, the BJP is not expected to do well in the southern state either. The UPA, which comprises DMK and the Congress in a minor role, and some others, is expected to win around 162 seats. While the ruling NDA, which consists of AIADMK, the BJP in a minor role, and others, is projected to win only 64 seats in the 234-member House. However, there's a lot involved beyond the obvious when it comes to vote share of the respective alliances and parties, and I am here to share all of that with you. See Voters Manu Sharma joined me a while ago to give us some useful details. I'm joined by senior editor See Voter, Mr. Manu Sharma. Many thanks, Mr. Manu Sharma, for talking to TV9 Network. The first question that I'd like to ask you, Manu, is that your agency has given TMC an edge over BJP this time. So, despite the fact that there have been major defections from the TMC to the BJP and BJP's relentless campaign, what seems to be working for the TMC this time?
Well, the only factor that you can say that is working for the TMC as of now is the gravitation of the opposition votes, which would have otherwise gone to the Congress and the left towards the TMC, because that is being seen as the viable force, that can take on the BJP in the state. There is another factor of Mamata Banerjee, the leader. When it comes to voting for the Lok Sabha polls, there is a dividend for the BJP, which is called the Modi dividend, the prime ministerial dividend. That is because it is for his leadership that the people are expressing their support. But in this case, when it comes to the state elections, I think Mamata Banerjee's personal leadership, what you can call support, is helping the TMC by that very bit, which is needed to gain an edge. However, there is still some time to go to the elections, and this could become a tighter race at the end.
Right. Talking about the BJP, the party doesn't seem to be performing badly at all. In fact, the Saffron Party's vote share increased to over 40%. So is the BJP, moving ahead? But clearly, although they might be, but clearly not enough to upset Mamata Banerjee. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, see, BJP is the big gainer in this round of elections. Either they will be number one or number two. Now, why are they big gainers? Because let us say in a hypothetical scenario, even if they manage to lose to TMC in a very close contest, what will happen is that by the next round of Lok Sabha polls, BJP will be in a pole position to claim a lion's share of seats, the Lok Sabha seats in West Bengal. And I think that is the metric that has to be watched out for, that the BJP as a principal opposition party is going to do really well when it comes to the Lok Sabha polls in 2024. And I think that kind of scenario is now crystallizing, no matter what happens in the Vidhan Sabha polls.
All right, moving to Tamil Nadu now, Manu, Tamil Nadu, the AIADMK-led NDA alliance, it seems to be falling flat on its claims of retaining the state, one of the very important states. So here now, what we're seeing is, perhaps the last time when the AIADMK came to power, it was because of Jayalalitha and because of the popularity she enjoyed in the state. Right now, the question is that what really hasn't worked for the NDA or the AIADMK this time? Is it lack of charismatic leadership?
Yes, I mean, there is that factor of lack of charismatic leadership, but there is also division and dissension within AIADMK due to, Sasikala going her own way. Now, she's floated her own party and they are eating into the vote share of the NDA. Now, they might not do really well on their own accord, but currently, from what all indicators are, it's a mix of anti-incumbency plus division within the vote share of the AIADMK that is contributing to give Mr. Stalin an edge.
Your agency has given an edge to DMK. So, is it only the AIA DMK anti-AIA DMK wave?
Well, till the last round of polls, Vidhan Sabha polls, or the last cycle of Vidhan Sabha polls, Tamil Nadu used to have this usual anti-incumbency cycle in which the incumbent was voted out of the power and the opposition used to, come back into the power. Now, what happened last time was that J. Jayalalitha's charismatic leadership and welfare schemes undid that cycle. Now, there is a combined 10-year anti-incumbency wave which is helping the DMK. And another bit is that Tamil Nadu's politics, as of now, is being looked at from the national prism, whereby all players are being seen as either aligned to the NDA or the UPA, and that is having its own impact. That the 10-20% vote share in Tamil Nadu, which used to closely watch the national political narrative, is now becoming decisive. And in that scenario, I think Tamil Nadu has a healthy amount of floating voters which are aligned to the UPA or the Congress, so as to say, and they might be gravitating towards leadership of Mr. Stalin and DMK.
All right. So, MK Stalin seems to be the popular choice for the chief minister with 36.4% people vouching for him. Why is he preferred, in your view?
Well, there are two things to look at it. The first is that when it comes to the heydays of the erstwhile leaders like M. Karunanidhi or J. Jayalalitha, they could have enjoyed perhaps far more significant, let us say, leadership ratings. But now, amongst all the leaders that are active in the politics, Mr. Stalin is clearly heads and shoulders ahead of them. He is sort of representing the generational change which is in the offing in the politics of Tamil Nadu. And one thing that is working for him is that he was politically very active, even with the, let us say, previous generation, when the previous generation was active and in the politics. So he's kind of being looked upon as the transition person who will lead, Tamil Nadu of the past towards, the Tamil Nadu of the present or future.
All right. So before we wrap this conversation, Manu, I'd like to ask you, I'd like to revisit West Bengal politics. Nandigram, one of the most important constituencies, now one of the most important constituencies because of the fact that we'll get to see a direct battle between Mamata Banerjee and Suvendu Adhikari once a close aide of Mamata Banerjee. So who really has the edge and can Mamata Banerjee really dent the prospects, winning prospects of Suvendu Adhikari, or is it too early to say?
Well, I mean, I would go with the option of too early to say. This is indeed a battle royal in the offing. So you have on one side the former mentor, and on the other side you have the former protige. But it must be said that Suvendu Adhikari has managed to raise himself by a notch or two in terms of the sheer public presence and in terms of being considered as a tall leader by this let us say by this kind of an electoral battle. So a winner has a lot at stake, and a runner-up will also have a lot to lose. So as of now, nothing can be said in a crystal clear manner. But this electoral battle would perhaps be the bellwether for rest of the state.
It would be a loss of face for the BJP if it fails to make an impact, especially in West Bengal. We still have a few months to go, and as they say, in politics, anything can happen. Many thanks for watching. If at all you like this video, do not forget to subscribe TV9 Digital across all social media platforms. Stay safe.